Okay, so the first part of today's lesson is going to definitely, without a doubt, you know it, 2 words, too easy. That is right. So the first thing that we're going to be doing today is adding tens, okay? Which is really no different than adding ones, except for there's just a 0 in there. So it's really not a big thing. And I'll tell you what I mean. So if I took 4, yeah, and added it to 2, yeah, right? Pretty easy. It is, that's right, it's 6. But watch, I can also put a 0 on each of the numbers and it still makes sense. I just have to put a 0 on every number, right? So 40, right? The only difference is I put a 0 here, plus 20, we see I just added a 0, makes 60, right? All you're doing is adding a 0 to each number, and it's exactly like adding, okay? Works exact same, just totally the same, right? So let's don't overcomplicate it, just assume that. So let's go ahead and let's get started on the front of your paper. On the front of your paper, let's look at number 1. Now, why do they show us this many places to write it, right? So we have here plus here equals that guy. Then we have this guy plus this guy equals that guy, right? And it's so that we can make our tens. We can make our tens. So the problem that I showed you before I added the 0, we could just say that those are how many tens we have. So if I showed you 3 tens, right, plus 6 tens, it makes 9 tens, right? 9 stacks of 10, 9 groups of 10, bundles of 10, whatever you want to call it. These can be looked at just like tens, right? 3 tens plus 6 tens makes 9 tens. But if I wanted to say, well, 3 tens, what does that really make? What is that all together? 3 tens is really 30, right? 6 tens is really, that's right, 60. And then 9 tens makes exactly 90, right? So copy that down for number 1, okay? And you don't have to pause the video because I got to erase this, and so you'll have a little bit of time, right? So write all that down for number 1, okay? And then we're going to look at number 2. Okay? And it's going to work the same. We're probably only going to do 2 of these examples, okay? Only going to do 2 of these. I know there's 4 on the front of your paper, but I don't think you guys are going to need it. I think you're going to get it after this one. You probably already have it, but I just want to make sure. All right, so this time we're going to do 2 plus, let's do 3. And 2 plus 3, as we all know, really simple, 5. Now, again, I'm going to look at this just like they're my tens. Okay, 2 tens plus 3 tens makes 5 tens. But what is 2 tens? What number do we have when we have 2 tens? What is 2 tens altogether makes? That's right, it makes 20. So then what's 3 tens altogether? That's right, makes 30. And then, finally, 20 plus 30 makes 5 tens is 50, right? Like I said, 2 words, too easy. So let me grab the paper. What do I do with it? I lost my paper. Here it is. Whoa, that was close. All right. So I'm going to turn you guys loose on this. You're going to go ahead and do number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you can see they put the word tens in there for you. Okay? They put the word tens in there for you so that you know that you're not really adding 3 and 4. You're adding 3 tens and 4 tens. Okay? So go ahead, pause the video now, and do numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 all the same. And then number 7, you're skipping the part where you put the tens, and you're just putting the bottom line in for number 7, okay? Pause video, do all those now. Very good. Let's look at the back. Let's look at the back. Pretty simple stuff. You could probably read this. It says that Paul had 30 markers. Anita has 40 markers. Okay, how many do they all have in all? All right, so you're not putting the part where you're putting tens. You're not doing 3 and 4. You're just doing 30 and 40 and what it makes. Okay, and so then you can pause the video and go ahead and do number 8. Very good. Number 9, simple. Lily has 20 fish in one tank. She has 20 fish. No, hang on. Lily has 30 fish in one tank. She has 20 fish in another tank. How many does she have in all? Again, 30 in one tank, 20 in another tank. How many does she have in all? Find the correct answer. Color in the circle underneath, and then pause the video. Just kidding. You don't have to pause the video. Just do that one and then get ready for the next one, because it's not very complicated either. All right. So this time we're going to be adding tens to different numbers, not even tens to even tens, right? So here we've got even 10, right? 2 even tens plus 3 even tens makes another even 10. But this time we're going to start a little differently, all right? This time we are going to start with a number that's not an even 10, and then we're going to add even tens to it, okay? And it's helpful kind of to have a hundreds chart, and I believe, let's check and see. Yep, we've got the majority. We got an entire hundreds chart on the inside to help us. But I don't even think you'll need it, because all we're doing is changing the tens place without changing the ones. And I'll give you this example. So for number 1, as you can see on your paper, we're adding 10 to whatever number Mr. Martin decides to pull out of his head and put right here. All right? And for that number, Mr. Martin is going to pull out, let's pull out 23. Okay? 23 goes right there. Now, you guys kind of already did this in the last topic when we were making our list and changing, borrowing tens and putting them on the other side. You know, when you had 23 is 20 plus 3, and then, 10 plus 13 and all that kind of thing. But what we're going to do is, again, our ones place is not going to change. So it's going to just come right over here by itself. Okay? But then in our tens place, I'm starting with 2 tens. And how many tens am I adding? That's right. I'm only going to add 1 10 to these tens. So in here I have 2 tens. I'm adding 1 10. So 2 plus 1 makes 3. Okay? That's what I got right there. Now, let's try number 2. Let's try number 2. Number 2 says, no number, whatever Mr. Martin pulls out of his head. And we're going to add 30 to it this time. Okay? This time we're going to add 30. Now, I also know that 30 is the same as 3 tens, right? So 30 and 3 tens are the same thing. All I'm going to do is whatever number goes right here, I'm going to put 3 more tens on it. That's all this is. This is my 3 tens. I'm going to put the number 51. Okay? So I'm starting with 5 tens. I'm adding 3 tens to it. And again, my ones place doesn't change. So what's in my ones place? A 1. So my 1 can go over here by itself until I figure out how many tens go there. I'm starting with 5 tens. I'm adding 3 tens. And I know that 5 and 3 makes 8. Okay? Now, if this isn't making sense yet, let's do one more. And then if you still don't get it, then hold your hand up and I'll come over and help you. Okay, so number 3 on the front of your paper, and you should be copying all this down. Okay? Oh, you know what? Mr. Martin messed up. We added 30 in number 2, or we did it number 2, but on your paper they did it number 3. So we're going to swap back. And for number 3, we're going to add 20. Okay? I totally got you messed up. So you know what? I'm even going to change it even more. We're going to drop a 10 off of here. And we're going to change our answer. You're going to have to get your erasers out. Sorry, even Mr. Martin makes mistakes. All right. So it should have been 51 plus 20. Should have been 51 plus 20. But the good part is my ones place still didn't change. My ones place still stayed 1. But instead of adding 3 tens, I'm only going to add 2 tens. And 5 tens plus 2 tens makes 7. Okay? So this time we're going to add 3 tens. And Mr. Martin will get back on track. And I'll start looking at the paper a little more closely. So sorry. Now, for number 3, we are going to look at the number 8. The number 8. So I'm starting with how many tens? 0. That's right. So my ones place stays the same. And then I'm adding 3 to 0 ones. I'm going to add 3 tens to 0 tens, and it gives me 3 tens. Again, if this doesn't make sense yet, go ahead and call me over, and I will come and help you. Okay? So, for right now, let's go ahead and let's turn to the middle. Okay? Go ahead and turn to the middle. You've got a whole list of problems to do. Now, the good part is you've got hundreds charts to help you. So, you can always find your number on your chart. And when you add 10, you just go down 1 place. If you add 2 tens, you would go down 2 places. If you add 3 tens, you go down 1, 2, 3 places. Does that make sense? So, for instance, to find the number 2, right here, and to add 10, I just move down 1 place, and it gives me 12. If I started with number 4, or excuse me, with the number 4, and moved down 2 places because I'm adding 2 tens, 1, 2. Yep, Mr. Martin just gave you one. It is 24. Okay? So I want you to pause the video and do numbers 1 through 11. 1 through 11 now. Very good. If you're still having trouble and you still don't understand, just call me over and I'll be glad to come help you. But I think you're going to get it. Okay? Now, let's look at the back. It said that some hens laid 23 eggs. Then they laid 20 more. Okay? So find the number 23 on your hundreds chart. Add 20 to it. Remember, that means you go down how many places? Okay? Put the number of eggs there. Pause the video. Do that now. Very good. Let's look at number 13. This says that 28 people were in one bus. 30 people were in another bus. And Mr. Smith is making an announcement. So, which sentence shows how many people were in both buses? 28 on one bus, 30 on one bus, on the other bus. Which sentence shows that addition problem? Pause the video, do that now. Very good. Guys, I know we were hurrying to get done. Mr. Martin was trying to push you to go a little faster and a little further. Just, again, if you don't get it, raise your hand, let me know. But I think you got it. Proud of you. If you do have time left, go to Prodigy. If not, I'll see you tomorrow or mañana.